Today, Keeping Him Honest has taken on new dimensions where politicians, including presidents, once shaded the truth, changed the subject, avoided questions entirely, but rarely flat out lied. Today, it's different. Today, the President of the United States and the people around him regularly and routinely say things that are not true. Lies about big things and small, lies amplified by repetition from the bully pulpit, spread over the cyberbully pulpit that comes from having 51 million Twitter followers, which is then re-amplified on the Fox News feedback loop. And Keeping Him Honest every day seems to bring a new one or reveal yesterday's dubious claim as an outright falsehood or concoction, such as this one revealed just yesterday about candidate Trump's health.
If your health is as strong as it seems from your review of systems, why not share your medical records? Why not?
Well, I have really no problem in doing it. I have it right here. I mean, should I do it? I don't care. Should I do it? I have no problem. It's two letters. One is the report and the other is from Lenox Hill Hospital.
Well, that letter from Dr. Harold Bornstein sounded outlandish at the time, but then again, so much around candidate Donald Trump did. His physical strength and stamina are extraordinary, the letter reads. If elected, Mr. Trump, I can state unequivocally, will be the healthiest individual ever elected to the presidency. And of course, yesterday, Dr. Bornstein revealed that those glowing words were dictated by Mr. Trump. And sure, it's tempting to put it in the sideshow category. Colorful, eccentric doctor says something colorful and eccentric about his over-the-top patient. Except, of course, it had to do with the physical and mental fitness of the man who would be commander-in-chief of a nuclear superpower and chief executive of the United States. Now, according to the Washington Post, the president has now made more than 3,000 false or misleading statements in office so far. And it doesn't cover just the last few days, during which, for example, President Trump claimed none of the 49 questions Special Counsel Mueller reportedly wants to ask him have to do with collusion. In fact, 13 do. Or his claim over the weekend that wages are rising for the first time in many, many years, when in fact they've been rising steadily since 2014. Now, according to the Post fact checkers, he has repeated that claim 20 times. But as the Post, CNN, and virtually every journalistic outlet has reported, there were lies on the campaign trail, but they never ceased once the president was in office.
I looked out. The field it looked like 1.5 million people. They showed a field where there were practically nobody standing there. It looked like 1.5 million people, whatever it was. But it went all the way back to the Washington Monument. And I turn on, and by mistake, I get this network. And it showed an empty field. And it said we drew 250,000 people. Now, that's not bad, but it's a lie. We had 250,000 people literally around, in the little bowl that we constructed. That was 250,000 people.
Well, the president sent his press secretaries, you remember, out to defend this untruth and repeated it several times, just as he repeated the untruth that millions of illegal immigrants voted in the 2016 election and even formed a presidential commission to investigate, which no longer exists. The president said and continues to say this about the border wall.
We started building our wall. I'm so proud of it. We started. We have 1.6 billion. And we've already started. You saw the pictures yesterday. I said, what a thing of beauty.
Well, Keeping Him Honest, we sent our Gary Tuchman to check out the claim, and he found, unsurprisingly, that it was false. Just a section of the wall being replaced and refurbished like it always has been over the years. The president has repeatedly lied about that. The question is, does anyone care? I mean, plenty of the president's supporters don't seem to. They even say they've never heard the president lie, and that is perhaps the biggest lie of all. Digging deeper now with former Trump campaign strategist David Urban and Rick Wilson, anti-Trump Republican strategist and author of the upcoming book, Everything Trump Touches Dies. Rick, what does it say about this president and his relationship to the truth that hardly anyone seems to be surprised by the fact that he dictated his own doctor's letter?
Well, I think it speaks both to that, Anderson, and also to this man's incredible vanity. I mean, this is a guy we really know very little about his actual health status because he had to have his image protected by having both his personal doctor and then a Navy physician reflect things about him that may or may not be true anywhere else except Donald Trump's own head. I mean, we really do live in a sort of a post-truth environment, even when it comes down to things like the actual medical facts about his actual personal history.
David, I mean, as a supporter of the president, does it concern you at all that he dictated this letter to his doctor? I mean,
look, Anderson, and look, I know Rick, with all due respect, we know Rick is no fan of this president, so his position here is quite clear for where he's coming from. Look, I think the president may have dictated the letter. If that's true, I don't know. We're taking this gentleman's word who breached his doctor-patient relationship earlier by leaking or by talking to the New York Times and telling the Times about what prescriptions the president took. So here's a gentleman who's clearly in violation of his fiduciary duty to the president as regards to his own personal information. So if the president did in fact dictate it, what does it say about the doctor? Is he telling the truth? The doctor signed the letter. He didn't push back. He's not saying that nothing in the letter is false, is he? I don't believe that's been asserted anywhere.
But I mean, you're putting it on the doctor. I guess what does it say about the patient that his lifetime physician is a guy who he can manipulate to
Anderson,
do whatever he wants?
No, I don't think that's fair. I think what the president, and again, going with your assertion, the president dictated the letter. The president may have said, "Hey, look, this is the way. This is what I'd like to emphasize." If the doctor went ahead and wrote it down and signed it and said the president's in great shape, I can tell you from firsthand experience, I've run up flights of stairs with this president, with the Secret Service. This guy's in good shape. I don't know if that's reflected in the letter or not, but the president's in great physical shape. And it was reflected, look, not just by this doctor, but by Dr. Jackson, who the Obama administration clearly loved and supported. And, so you're saying not the doctor, that his previous primary care physician was not telling the truth, but also the Dr. Jackson wasn't telling the truth.
David, though, I mean, you're telling me if Hillary Clinton had dictated to her doctor, or Barack Obama had dictated to his doctor, say that I have the best genes, that
Anderson, we all watched Hillary Clinton pass out, completely pass out on national television. Pass out on national television, and we were told she had a fainting spell.
Right.
Everybody's seen that, and she was whisked away to some secretive location without the media being around. But nobody, I don't hear anybody clamoring right now about her medical records or her medical history.
Right, but she's
also not the president, David.
Okay.
Yeah, but Rick, what part don't you believe? Who are you calling a liar, Rick? Are you calling Dr. Ronnie Jackson a liar? Are you calling his former doctor a liar?
But just honestly, David, I remember broadcasting an awful lot about Hillary Clinton's, fainting at the 9/11 memorial, and there were cameras outside her daughter's apartment when she came out, and we questioned all this stuff. So, but you're telling me honestly, if it turned out that she dictated her doctor's letter, or that Barack Obama did, that Republicans would not be making a big deal about it?